Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Miriam. I am a snail farmer. I'm a practicing snail farmer. I've been into snail farming for more than 8 years now, practicing, and I have a vast knowledge about snail farming. There's a lot of misconception about snail farming. There's a lot of wrong information, but here I'm bringing you the right knowledge about snail farming. It doesn't matter if you have failed before. If you follow me strictly, you are going to achieve a profitable snail farm. A lot of persons have been reaching out to me, telling me that, why not come online, come and say something about snail farming. You are someone that is doing so well in the industry. I believe in profitable snail farming. If you are doing snail farming and you're not making money from it, then there's no need for you to go into snail farming. I am not talking about vendors. I'm not talking about snail business. I'm talking about the farming itself. That is growing snails from eggs to table sizes. I am someone that has succeeded in that aspect of snail farming when it comes to snail farming in Nigeria and in Africa at large. So I am here, just as you have asked me to do, to correct the wrongs in snail farming. So we are going to start it from the beginning. We are starting snail farming afresh. If you have not followed this channel, follow this channel because there's a lot that you're going to gain from this channel. In fact, people have already told me to come online, to come and say if you don't come out, according to one of my fans, she said if you don't come out, how will people know? We have to see you before people reach out to the wrong persons. You have to be out there. You have to see the person that is doing it well. So that's why I'm here today. I'm a very busy person on the farm, but I just have to come online to share right knowledge about snail farming. So yeah, we'll be starting with the right housing. So I'm starting with your housing. Housing is where you keep your snails. This is one major problem in snail farming. A lot of persons don't really understand the importance of housing to snail farming. Housing will determine if you are going to succeed in your snail farming business or not. What I was taught in school was if you're going into snail farming commercially, you need the two types of housing system, which is the intensive and the semi-intensive, which we all call the greenhouse. And this is the greenhouse. This is where I am now. Normally, you grow your snails in the greenhouse. That is, we have the breeding snails. Those the breeding snails are the snails that lay eggs. Understand? Then the growing snails are the additions you get when the eggs hatch into babies. Those are your baby snails, and those snails will start growing. So those snails are the snails you put in your greenhouse because they are growing. Do you know the reason? You know you are breeding snails and they are laying eggs. If you put your breeding snails in a greenhouse, you will not be able to take inventory of what you are getting. You don't know how many eggs your snails have hatched. You don't know how many eggs your snails have laid, and you don't know how many eggs have hatched. So it's just like you are doing a blind farming. If someone asks you, how many baby snails do you have on the farm right now? You don't know. If someone asks you, how many eggs did your snail laid this week? You don't know because you put your breeders in the greenhouse and they start laying eggs. They start hatching the eggs, but you don't know the number that you have. And that is not good for business. But if they are in the intensive system is where you collect the eggs, you hatch the eggs yourself, and you know that this is the number of eggs I collected, and this is the number of hatchlings I'm getting. If your eggs are not hatching, you have to find a solution. But in the greenhouse, you don't know if the eggs are hatching. In fact, high percentage of the eggs in the greenhouse don't hatch because number one, the snails might lay the eggs on the soil. They will not lay it inside the soil. And if your greenhouse is bushy you'll not be able to see the eggs. Secondly, the water you put in the greenhouse is too much. It might not allow the eggs to hatch. Not all the eggs will hatch. So those are the disadvantage of breeding in the greenhouse. But that does not mean that you cannot breed in the greenhouse. But you have to control all this so that you can get a profitable snail farm. I don't want to go to that aspect yet. Let me just talk about how these two houses work. Like I said, the intensive system is for the breeding of the snails, and the greenhouse is for the growing of the snails. So when you breed your snails in the intensive system and they lay eggs, you take the eggs into your incubator, you hatch those eggs, and you take the babies into the growing area, which is the greenhouse. I'm going to show you the two types of housing system that you can use for your snail farming. So let's see the greenhouse. This is the greenhouse. This is the greenhouse. This is where I am now. This is the greenhouse. So show everyone, this is how a greenhouse look like. Don't worry about the net. Your net can be black, but I just wanted to use the green nets because of the name, the greenhouse. So this is the outside, the outward appearance of the greenhouse. You can see it. So I'm going to take you inside the greenhouse. Um, you don't need to allow your greenhouse to be very bushy before you put in your snails. Like I always tell people, what you do is to plant edible vegetables in your greenhouse. You don't need grasses. If you are a practicing snail farmer, you will know that snails don't stay under grasses. They stay under vegetation, under shade. That's where they stay. Okay? So you allowing your greenhouse to look like a forest is not good. It's not good at all. You should be able to have access to your snails. Like if I want to see my snails now, I can see them. I can know how they are faring. But you creating a greenhouse that you don't know how the snails are faring, it is not professional. It is not good for business, I'm telling you. You don't even know how many snails are alive. You don't know how many snails are dead. You cannot calculate your mortality on the farm. Every type of farming I've seen, people are able to calculate what they get, what they are losing. Like they are able to, like, let's say for example a poultry farm. A poultry farmer knows how many eggs he got in a day, and he knows how many mortality he got in a day. So that is not excluded from a snail farm. As a snail farmer, you should know how many snails that you have gotten for that day, and if you have any mortality, you should be able to know. So that is not an exception for snail farming. Guys, this is like an additional shade we added to this to the farm. This is a wood slab. You can see my snails. Can you see them? These are growing snails. You can see them. So at any point in time, I can come and check my snails. Okay? This is also serving as a food slab for them. They'll come at night and they will feed on these vegetables, these moringa leaves. So you can see them. You can see. I know how my snails are doing. I know how they are doing. So this is the inward part of the greenhouse. If you don't want to plant a lot of vegetables, there are other shade you can use. Like you can see, I'm using my wood, my plank as my shade. So do you see any grass in this place? What you are seeing is edible vegetables, and that is what your snails need. That is what your snails need. Number one, you see those grasses, those forest kind of greenhouses? It is wrong. It is totally wrong. Plant vegetables like potatoes, um, pumpkin, which we call ugu green, cocoyam, things that you know that your snails can eat. Those are the things that you plant. So guys, let's go to the intensive system. Like I said before, in the intensive system, this is where we breed our snails. They lay eggs here. We take the eggs to the incubator, and then we take the babies to the greenhouse. So this is the intensive system, okay, where you have your it's like it's like your cage. This is your intensive system, okay. This is how it looks like. I'm sorry we have a lot of things on the cages. So this is how it looks like. Every intensive system should have a roof over them. Okay. So now let's check one of the pen. Let's use this one. So these are the snails in the intensive system. You can see that I don't need to look for my snails, even in the greenhouse and in the intensive system. I don't need to look for my snails. I know where they are, and I can assess them at every given point in time. So these are the snails in the intensive system. Sorry, we are doing soilless, but even if you are using soil, that's not a problem. I'm just talking about the intensive system. So you can see the snails. These are the snails that are laying eggs. They are here. You can see them. So this intensive system here, we provide food for them. These are formulated feed. Sometimes we give them vegetables like this. Sometimes I put it together for them. And this is their water bowl where we give them water. And this is their feed also. You know, you have to calculate the number of snails you have to know how many feeders that will be in the pen. So this is also another bowl for their calcium. You know, these are laying as snails that are laying eggs. They need calcium for their egg formation and also so that the eggs will be strong. Okay, so this is what a proper snail farming housing look like. But if you know all fingers are not equal, if you don't have the money to do both systems, if you don't have the funds, you can start with the intensive system. Even in the intensive system, you can also grow your babies in the intensive system. But the truth is that snails grows faster in the greenhouse because they have a lot of space to move around. So this is how where the logic lies. If you are using the intensive system, then if you have a separate cage where you put your baby snails and you ensure that there's a lot of space for the baby snails, not that you put plenty snails inside one pen. So you have to create space for them so that they can go faster. But that does not mean that they will go faster than the ones in the greenhouse, but at least the growth rate will also be high. Because I have grown baby snails in in the intensive system before, and they did very well. But from my observation and practical experience, I noticed that snails grows faster in the greenhouse. The baby snails, they grow faster in the greenhouse. And sometimes you can just keep your baby snails for some time in the intensive system. At least you make them to be strong, maybe like 2 weeks. They can be in the intensive system for 2 weeks, because I do that sometimes before taking them into the greenhouse. Sometimes I even leave them for like 3 weeks to 1 month before taking them into the greenhouse. So this is the proper housing for snail farming. And for those that want to use the greenhouse as their breeding area, I will tell you that it's like a special training. I will tell you what to do, exactly what to do if you want to use just your greenhouse as your growing and breeding area. There are some things that you need to put in place if you want to use just your greenhouse. So guys, you have come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed the video. This knowledge are practical knowledge. They are not just what I got on Google. No, I'm not a Google farmer. I'm a practical snail farmer. In my next video, I'll be talking about the kind of species you can use to start up your farm, the right species for the right purpose. So if you have not liked my YouTube channel, please subscribe, like this video, share this video to the world to see. We need to get snail farming right in Africa. Guys, do you know what? We got a lot of snails last year and we didn't have space to keep them. And this year, we have a lot in stock. In fact, our target is 20,000 snail capacity. And by God's grace, we have been able to make arrangements to accommodate those 20,000 snails. And we believe that even as we are breeding them, we'll be having people to come and buy the snails, and we will not have limited space to keep them. Guys, like I said before, you can grow 200,000 snails, 500,000 snails. That is if you have the space. So if you don't have the space, don't try it. Don't try it. Last year, I was throwing away snails. I was like, oh God, where am I going to keep the snails? So guys, if you want to go into profitable snail farming, you can partner with us. If you want training, we will train you well. If you want us to set up your farm, we'll set up your farm. But if you want us to do business together, like go to a village and buy the whole village and start snail farming, if you bring the money now, we'll partner with you. Don't worry. So, guys, thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much. Please don't let it stop here. Share my video. Please, I beg in the name of God. Please share my video. The world needs to see this. The world needs to see the great things that is happening in snail farming, okay? Bye, guys.